the water. Class is live now. We'll go ahead and get started in a minute.
If any brother or sister has any questions, put your questions in the chat now so they can be answered throughout class. The water.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the Thursday night scripture breakdown. I'll be holding it down till General Mahayaman gets here. All right, put your questions in the chat box if you have any. Any questions in the room? What you got?
If I may, sir, it's a question we asked from last week. I was wondering if you got the answer for it. The scripture about when grace runs out.
I don't remember that class. We gotta ask General Mahayaman when he gets here. That's what I was gonna ask.
Concert.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't remember offhand. I remember the class, but I don't remember the scripture. I know it was in Revelations. I'm just not gonna go out on a whim and guess it. All right. Any other questions in the room? Good.
Salaki, sir, if I may, in the book of Job, right, chapter 4 and verse 15, when Job was having when he seen the spirit, was he speaking to an angel?
How about Shemel Shabrakta? You ready, sir? It's like you said Job 4 and what?
Chapter 4, verse 15, sir. I was wondering if the spirit that if he was speaking with an angel.
Let me just read up here to get some context, all right? That's exactly what's happening here. That's why when you go up, he says, in thoughts from visions of the night, when a deep sleep falleth on men. You understand? So this is talking about a vision that he received. You understand? All right. Any other questions? Anything online? That's why I be telling you, everybody know the Bible. Then I pull one scripture and nobody's hands go up. You like that, huh? That's why I be telling you, everybody know the Bible. Then I pull one scripture and nobody's hands go up. Yakabun Yumyun Ushabrakta Salaki. Can I get a breakdown of Revelations 20 and 12? Let's go ahead and go there. I pull one scripture and nobody's hands go up. Yakabun Yumyun Revelations chapter 20 verse 12 to what again? Let's see this here. All right. 12 to 15 chapter 20 if you could.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 20 and verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. This is the book of Revelations, and the books were open in verse 12. And I saw the dead book was open, small and great, which is the book of life before God. The book of Revelation. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. Which is the verse 13. And the dead were judged out of those things, verse 13. Which were written, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death. 13. Hell delivered up the dead which were in them. 13. And they were judged, every man according to their works. Verse 14. And dead and hell, and death, which were in them, and hell, were cast into the lake of fire. According to their works. This is the second death. Verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast in the lake of fire. Is the second death.
What you're reading about here is that this is talking about
and whosoever was not found written in the book of life.
So when it talks
was
about
cast
I
in
saw
the
the
lake of
dead,
fire.
small and great. So this is talking about those of great stature, those without. You
Whosoever
understand?
was not
Whether
found
you
written
are
in the
poor,
book of
whether
life
you are the
was
president,
cast in the lake of fire.
these books are open, meaning what? These judgments based on what you did, understand, according to your works, how you live. If you kept the Lord's statutes and commandments, if you broke them, was your works profitable for the Most High, or was it counterproductive to this truth and what the Lord laid down? If you kept the Lord's statutes and commandments, now it says, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. So now what we're talking about here is that death and hell in this context, if y'all could make sure everybody's devices are off, all right? Make sure your phones is on mute. This way you do not disrupt the rest of the class. All right. So now what you're seeing here is that death and hell is this is a condition. The sea that's casting this up is the world. You understand? They being cast out of this sea that they were in, and death and hell is cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So, what creates death and hell?
Your sins, your choices.
Okay, give me some more.
All right.
Hell is, let's start with hell, right? Hell is what?
A condition. A condition.
A condition, right? How is that condition created?
From going against the Lord's statutes and commandments of the Most High God.
Okay, this is true, right? So does it just happen magically? Like what? Give me some examples of the hell that we live in today.
All right, part of the hell that we live in is being oppressed and being murdered in the streets by police officers, being forced in hell-stricken neighborhoods with poverty and bad living conditions, being arrested and treated unfairly at trial. It comes from a people.
So it comes from what?
A people.
A people. So meaning that there's a catalyst for this hell. You understand? So meaning that what's the issue with the police?
The issue with the police is that they...
You said it a minute ago.
They murder and kill our people in the streets.
You ready to cut it? Okay, so they're killing us, right?
Come on.
That's death and a part of hell.
Right.
The next thing you said was what? We're forced into impoverished conditions, right? Meaning that we're pushed inside these different neighborhoods. You understand? Things like gentrification. Gentrification is organized. Gentrification doesn't just happen magically. You understand? It's systematic oppression. So what you're seeing here is what you said initially. There's somebody behind death and hell. You understand? There's somebody pushing death and hell. The same way when you start to bring up these conditions, you start to say there's a people behind this. That there is a direct cataclysm, you understand? And somebody responsible for the condition of hell that's bringing death to us. Like, once again, you want to shake the Christianity off of it. You don't want to look at all this like this is ooky spooky or whatever the case may be. If judgment's being cast down and it's talking about and death and hell are cast into the lake of fire, then it's talking about what's creating those conditions. So who creates death and hell for us inside of America?
The oppressor, the other nations.
Our oppressor, these other nations. So who's going into, you understand, this lake of fire?
The other nations.
And then who else?
And the children of God that wasn't following the laws.
You understand why? Because remember, I saw both small and great stand before the Most High. And now we're talking about judgment coming down onto the earth. And you have those that's going to be spared, those that's cast out of this. And then you have those who's going into that lake of fire. You understand? With our oppressor. Meaning, you didn't want to be on the Lord's side. You didn't want to, you understand, choose life. So as a result, you experience the second death. The second death is thermonuclear warfare. You understand? Is when Yahweh Shah and the angels return, and it says, and they are taken, and Babylon is taken out in 1 hour, meaning what? A brief amount of time does this place fall. And when you read in Revelations, the 18th chapter, about all the merchants and everybody afar off who cries from Babylon's destruction, right? So what you're seeing here is that this is the judgment of it. This is the judgment according to the works of what everybody's done. Whether or not the Lord is going to cast down this judgment and destroy you inside of that second death or not. Because what's the first death?
Physical death?
Well, this is a physical death. You understand? This physical death is a judgment where it says you have not tasted death like this. Meaning, like this death, this is going. This is a death like when the scripture says that your eyeballs get sucked into the back of your head. You understand? Your tongue burns out your mouth. That's not a regular death. That's not going in your sleep. You understand? Like that is something unseen and unheard of. So what's supposed to be the first death? The flood, Slakia? No, lie.
First death is the life you live without following the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High God.
Give me more.
Because the law is life. To follow the commandments is to have life. So death is how our brothers and sisters are scattered throughout the earth, not knowing who they are, not knowing what to follow, getting caught up and mixed up in other people's religion and life, conditions and customs.
So what has to happen to those people?
Those people?
Yeah.
They have to be born again.
There you go. Give them a hand. You understand? The first death is a spiritual death. The first death is what every single brother and sister who comes inside the truth experiences. You understand? This is why you get new names. You understand? This is why we have Officer Bakwa Shamath. Why we have, you understand, Captain Shema Wa'ala just walked in the room. Why we have Officer Sha'al, Officer Yawasap Yala, Officer Thakan, you understand? So on and so forth. You understand? Because the first person who has to die is you coming out the world. You understand? Spiritually, you have to be put to death. This is what Romans, the 6th chapter, is talking about. 7th chapter talking about. You understand? Resisting your lust. You understand? What shall we sin that grace may abound? God forbid. Meaning that we have to kill off our old man, put off the former conversations of the old man, that we live again. And if your name's written in the book of life, you don't experience the second death, in which the second death is the judgment of the Most High. You understand? Where he comes and burns America. That if you were to be able to see America from afar off, it's going to look like fire. So vast and expansion, it's going to look like a lake of it. You understand? That's real. That's not spookism. It's a metaphor for the condition that is going to be America. You understand? Slack, the general's back there. Okay, Khan. All right. Any other questions in the room?
So you said Romans the 6th chapter. Did we get a verse?
Slacky, 1 second. They said there's an echo with the audio. So if you go on to the OBS, that means you got 2 mixers open. So like you might see more than one audio bar moving up, right? There should only be 1 audio bar. If you got 2, it means that there's a loop created in the sound. So Baba Kushah, if you could just check the mixer, you see the audio moving up and down? Is there more than 1? It's just 1. I'm going to come over there and fix it in a second. All right. Salakia, Yawasap Yala, what was your question?
The verse on Romans chapter 6, sir?
Romans?
That's the...
All right, let's go there. Romans 6 and what?
Salakia, so that was my question. That was the precept you gave for Revelation 20. You had paraphrased it, sir?
I'm saying you want the precept, or you're asking is this the precept?
I want the precept, sir.
Okay. When you go to Romans chapter 6 And then you could start at verse 6, knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. You understand? This chapter is about being born again. This is about your old man being crucified with Christ. You understand? Meaning what? I believe the first person I ever heard say this was General Mayak. He put it in probably the most simplest form that you could, right? Slakyak? Oh, I'm Tawab, the water priest. He put it in probably the most simplest form that you could have, right? Christ died for what you did, not what you do. You understand? Your old man is crucified with him. You understand? Christ died for what your old man did, for what we did while we were in the world. You understand? If we were selling drugs, if we were dealing with whores, if we were committing adultery, worshiping idols, all these different things that we did that were unlawful according to the Most High, according to this truth, according to his word. You understand? Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed. Why? That is the first death. The old you has to die. You understand? Because we were physically supposed to die. If you had a Christmas tree in your house, you were supposed to be put to death. You understand? You dying Easter eggs thinking it's for the children, you're supposed to be put to death. Halloween, you understand? Running out, taking candy from strangers, telling your kids that it's acceptable. We're supposed to be put to death for practicing the Samhain. You understand? All these different pagan festivals and harvest festivals, winter solstice, summer solstice, spring solstice, all fertility festivals, so on and so forth. All of these things that the Lord said that he, Shalom, all these things that the Lord said that he despised. On the ball. Everybody good on that? All right. Any questions in the room? Said the sounds Tawab now. What's up, bud? Okay, Khan. You got a question, sis? I think she needs the mic.
When the Most High come back, right? You said the world is gonna be like in a lake of fire. So when he come back, where we all gonna go? Like to heaven or something like that?
America is going to be a lake of fire. But when Yahweh Shah returns with his angels, he's coming back with 200 million chariots. You understand? These chariots, the scripture says, it's in Thessalonians, what is it, 4:12, 4:16, when it talks about we shall be lifted up. Yeah, the dead shall rise first in Christ. First, 4 and I'm gonna get you a precept 4 right now, sis, just to show you what transpires. I knew it was somewhere around there. 1 Thessalonians 4 and start at 17. You know what? For 16. 4 and 16. Who got it?
I got it. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout.
So now this is what happens, you understand, when Yahweh Shah returns. Good?
With the voice of the archangel and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first.
So the first thing that you're going to see is you're going to see a literal resurrection of the dead. You understand? All those that is sealed, all those that died. Serving. Cut. All right, sir.
Good to go. Unless you need it. No, I'm great. I'm straight. Let's get it on with the water. We're holding it down, Captain. I'll answer your questions online and in the room. Did they serve a purpose? Okay, yeah, I think some other brothers are coming down as well. All right, let's get it on. Questions. Let's have them. If you don't mind, I'll take one. Up front, right here.
There was I'm not sure if you were going to cover this, sir, but there was a brother, a famous rapper named Young Dolph. He was murdered yesterday in Memphis, Tennessee. I was wondering if you were going to cover that, if we could get the stance
Let's
on.
go over that too. There's another one we need to do. I received many calls about Young Dolph, right?
That's his name. His slave name's Adolf, so he called himself
Young Dolph, right? So Young Dolph, he got killed. He's a rapper, I believe, in Memphis, Tennessee. I received a few calls asking for a breakdown on that. There's another very similar story about a famous football player for the Las Vegas Raiders. Look up his name. Go ahead.
Henry Ruggs III, sir.
Please. Is that for me? Oh, Shalaki, no swear. No problem. We're going to do, we'll also, that's a very similar story, all right? We'll do those. I'm going to give you a video for that. Bear with me. Okay. What was your question, Doc? Was it about that?
Yeah, just that topic, whenever you get to it, sir.
Okay, I'll give you a few things on it. Any other questions? What was the cat's name again? Ruggs?
Henry Ruggs, Ruggs is his last name.
Henry Ruggs. Go ahead, Doc. What was your other question?
If I may, add one.
Go ahead,
today, November 18, it's the anniversary of the Levite when they fought the French, and that was the last battle, which is called the Battle of Vertières. That's when the French army, they came to the island to reinstate slavery because it was supposedly abolished, supposedly, but they came back to reinstate slavery. And November 18 was the last time that the French had any power during that time, sir.
Okay.
Because the Levite, they defended themselves and won over the Napoleon army.
Now, give them a hand.
Come on, sir.
Slaki, Abun, I just sent you a video about the Ruggs. Just see if we can get up on the screen whenever we do the topic, all right? Go ahead, Ab.
Come on, sir. So the question out of one is, how do we treat that day, sir, comparing to the other feast days that we have, like similar to the Maccabees, our victory over the Grecians? How should that day be treated?
Okay, and this is the day that the Levites were victorious over the French in Haiti, correct? Okay, you should treat that day the same way that the Mexicans treat Cinco de Mayo, which was the day that they were victorious over the Spanish. You can treat that day the way the tribe of Judah treats Juneteenth. You're familiar with that, right? Down in Texas, that's mainly where they celebrate that. Those days are days of happiness in hell. Those are not days of freedom. Those days are not days of salvation. But it was a happy day and a joyous day. It was a victory in a place where otherwise we receive all losses and never taste victory. We're allowed to be happy about days like that. Now, what you don't want to compare them to is to the Passover or to the Feast of Unleavened Bread, or a day that is a sanctified day unto the Most High. The day that Haiti received victory from the French is not a Sabbath. Do you understand? It's not a day, that is holy, but it's a day that those brothers and sisters and anyone else who loves them are free to acknowledge and celebrate. And there are holidays like that in the Bible, ones that we don't do anymore. But for a time, it was a happy day where the people in this area would celebrate some victory or some joyous moment that they had in a otherwise very bleak and dark existence. And so there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not holy. And of course, you know what happened after that. You understand? After that, they're in Mexico under a bridge. So it's not a day of great salvation, but it was a happy day to be remembered, and that's a good thing. And just maybe if we remember that the Most High is the author of life and death, and the Most High is the God of victory and loss, then maybe we can serve him and have a true victory one day. You understand?
Come on, throw out, sir.
Good to go? Anything else? Go ahead, up front.
Yeah, just a few scriptures on the topic that's going on in Brazil when I make my tape in Portuguese. So the Brazilian government just passed a law. I couldn't quite recall if it's to make like an investigative organization or passing laws to protect women. Basically, long story short, they have a huge problem with domestic violence, like particularly men beating women, and so they passed laws against domestic violence. They passed laws against rape. It's not like the United States where they had Title IX and things like that passed. So I'm assuming they're doing this as to give women who have been wronged some justice. Do you have any scriptures on that? Like I want to attack it from the angle that before what's the cat's name? Pedro Alves Cabral came with the Portuguese. We didn't have that issue amongst the Arawak, amongst the so-called blacks that were brought there. It was these people that came and brought these lifestyles here. Would that be the angle?
And this, please, if you don't mind, word. And the lifestyle is a lifestyle of doing what?
A lifestyle of treating women unlawfully, basically, like rape.
And what were they doing to the women? They were killing them or
there's a big
kidnapping
problem,
them?
Yeah, especially during the pandemic. There's a big problem of like domestic incidents where the man would end up killing the woman. They passed laws against rape. Brazil has a major problem with sexual deviancy, so they passed laws against that.
Okay, and you're asking me for precepts about this particular topic.
Precepts, and what angle we would attack it as a precept.
Okay, so this is a problem that happens in many poor countries. Okay, this is violence against women, right? Violence or femicide, right? Femicide is violence directly targeted towards women. There was an amazing problem with this, I want to say back in the early 2000s in Mexico, where they were having a femicide, where they were just killing every Mexican woman. Go ahead.
And then, now they're having the issue in Honduras as well.
That usually happens during great times of poverty or in a place of great poverty, right? Usually, that's one group that begins to be targeted as women. Why? Because women are helpless and defenseless. And that was the other topic I had to go into today that I've received too many calls about, is about another rapper and his girlfriend. They were arguing and fighting. Sis, DeBaby, right? About DeBaby had a fight with his wife on Instagram, right? And so we need to go into that, okay? We'll go into that in a few seconds, all right? But I would put this with that particular story. A woman is helpless, right? She has no defense. She can't defend herself, right? And so because of that, when there is great poverty, when there is a breakdown in the structure that protects women, people will begin to just kill and rape women because there's no more 911 that can stop you. There's no one that will kick in the door. Her family that would otherwise protect her are all poor and drug addicts, and in many cases you can give them money and they'll sell you their daughter for crack cocaine or for drugs. Women are helpless, and in many countries, when times get extremely rough, she's going to be the first one to die. All right. And this happens over and over again. I'll give you some precepts that you need about it. What you want to go to is a story of what happened in Israel and Benjamin, when that brother's concubine was killed, was raped and killed. Not with the Benjamites, the West Indians killed and raped that brother's concubine. I forget what tribe he was, but I'm sure you can find that out. Go ahead.
I believe he was a Levite, but I have to confirm that.
You can confirm it, right? Meaning a wife that he received, not from her father. After her father was dead, he received this wife. And he loved her, and she was killed and raped. And he chopped her body up in pieces, 12 pieces, so he could send the evidence of this murder to all of the 12 tribes of Israel. Come on.
I have the story, sir. Where do you want to start from the first verse?
Go ahead.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 19 and verse 1. And it came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel.
Let me get DeBaby up on the screen as well. I might as well do it now. Hold on. Any other questions online? Can you wait for a second?
Yes, sir.
Let me just fold this into the baby story, all right? Just ask it in a minute once we get to the end. Let me get one online. Levi, you had something you wanted to say?
No, I had a question, so I'll wait.
Okay, go ahead.
This question is from Quadak. It says, Salakia, sir, can I get a breakdown on Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 and verse 21?
All right, go ahead. And the Ruggs thing, we'll fold that into the Memphis rapper. All right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, and verse. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, and verse 21.
If anyone's hot, we could turn the heat down. Just let the brother know, right, the guard.
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, verse 21. For grace is not given him from the Lord, because he is deprived of all wisdom.
Let's skip up 2 verses, please.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 and verse 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself.
Remember that. Keep going.
Verse 20. There is one that sheweth wisdom in words, and is hated. He shall be destitute of all food.
Keep going.
Verse 21. For grace is not given him from the Lord, because he is deprived of all wisdom.
Any more? Was that the question?
Yeah, verse 21 was the question.
All right, I'll explain. Go back up to 2 verses.
Ecclesiasticus 37 and 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself.
There's one man who's wise. He's wise. Meaning, what do I mean when I say wise? He knows how to make good decisions. He knows how to judge a matter and judge what to do that is honorable in the sight of the Lord, and he does that thing that's honorable in the sight of the Lord, in the sight of the Lord. And that's very difficult to do here in this hell, in this body that has desires and needs, and it gives you conflicts in your mind, sister. Give it a mic. Go ahead.
Like someone that have a sound in mind.
Give her a hand. That's correct. Someone that has a sound mind, because of your sound. The word sound is an old shipping word that meant solid. You know, ship sound. It was a good, solid ship. Well, if you have a sound mind, then you can make good decisions, right? That's correct. Excellent, daughter. Excellent. Well, that type of person, he's sound in his mind. He has wisdom, and he teaches many people. He takes that wisdom and he educates people on how they can make good decisions, on how they can have sound minds. And what happens to him, Abun?
And yet is unprofitable to himself.
And yet he is unprofitable to himself. Yet he doesn't take that wisdom and use it for himself. Do you understand? Paul said that. Paul said, what profit does it me to teach others the path to life, and I myself perish? It's like knowing the answers, and you give everyone the answers. You tell them how to get off of drugs, and you tell them how they should serve the Lord. But then you, in your personal life, you go and you do drugs. In your personal life, you don't use that wisdom, which you clearly have. How do I know you have it? Because you teach other people. But you yourself, when it's time for you to do the right thing, you fall under that flesh. You fall under your mind. Come on.
If I may, sir, would that be similar, I don't want, to a father? I remember my step-pops used to do that to us. A father that tells his children, don't sell drugs, but he's the biggest drug dealer in town.
Tells his son, don't smoke cigarettes. Yet he smokes. Don't get high. Yet he get high. Yet he gets high. A mother will tell her daughter, don't be running around with them boys having all that sex. Yet there's a train of men coming in and out of your house every week. Your mother has sex with everybody, but she tells you don't go have sex with all of those men. Give her the mic.
That saying, do as I say, not as I do.
Give her a hand. That's correct. That's the Sadducee and Pharisee as well. The Sadducee and Pharisee, Christ said that. Christ said they sit in Moses' seat. So whatsoever they bid you do, but do whatsoever they bid you, meaning tell you do, but do not as they do. The Sadducee and Pharisee were wise. They understood right from wrong, but they just did not apply it to themselves. That's every preacher you've ever met who talks about God. That is called hypocrisy in the Bible. And what you'll find is that there are so many wise people who are hypocrites. They never apply their wisdom to themselves. Everyone understands. Being a hypocrite is not allowable in here. That you're not allowed to do in here. You're not allowed to go out to that camp and teach and teach and teach and go home and teach your wife and tell your wife how she should obey you and then come into this school and follow no orders. That you can't do in here. Everyone understands. Keep going.
There is one that sheweth wisdom in words and is hated. He shall be destitute of all food.
Then there's another one that shows wisdom in words, meaning he talks wisdom. He teaches wisdom, and he is hated. Why is he hated?
Because though he talks a good talk and talks about wisdom, his actions cause people to hate him.
His words and his actions do not match. He talks about wisdom and brotherhood and the spirit of Jesus and forgiveness and God, yet he's going to have sex with your child. He is going to have sex with your child. He talks about making a sacrifice when it comes time to pay tithes, how you have to make the sacrifice. You have to give up those things that you love, and yet he never gives up child molestation, which he loves. He never gives up Rolls Royces and jets, which he loves. He shall be hated, man. Everybody's going to hate him because he's a filthy, hypocritical, selfish bastard. Everyone understands. Anything else?
He shall be destitute of all food.
Oh, he's going to be destitute of all food. That's the future of your preacher. Your preacher is rich right now off of hypocrisy. He's rich over telling other people wise things and good sayings and giving a good sermon and having a good band. But in a second, he's going to be poor because everyone is going to realize what an evil person he is. They'll forget about how good the free at last. They'll forget about how good the speech is. Right now, the speech sounds so good, it's on TV every day. It sends chills up and down your bones for you women. You pass out and faint when he comes out there and shakes his hand and the band hits the drum at the exact right time to give you an orgasm. Right now, you're wrapped up in what he says. But soon, you're going to look at your children and see they've all been raped. And how your house is empty because you've given him every penny that you have. And how your grandmother is dead even though he promised to heal her. But she's dead. He promised to heal your grandma. But she's gone. And now, before you know it, you look at him for who he is. He is what he does, not what he says. He is what he does. Come on.
And it's like it, sir, and what he teaches and what he stands for, all that, Jesus knows my heart, God loves everybody. I read Young Dolph's biography, and it said in his biography that his mother would read him the scriptures and the Bible every day. And she was avid, she was in the church and involved, etc., and it got him death.
No doubt. That's a lot of good for nothing, going to church. Going to church can't save your life. Going to church gets you killed. We'll go into that in 1 second, all right? We'll go into why young Dolph got killed, and we'll go into the point of young Dolph's death is for you to know that you're next. Right? If you think young Dolph, many brothers in the truth, I've been in the truth a few years now. And I remember when Biggie Smalls got killed and Tupac got killed, seemed like the next day, I think. But I remember it happened so fast that it was the judgment of God. And this is what they came in and taught us, the captains that were over me. They said, you can look at Biggie Smalls and think he's the evilest man in the world, and that's why he died. And you can look at Tupac and think he's the evilest man in the world. And now you can look at young Dolph and think he's the evilest man in the world. Here is the lesson that you all better learn. You're next because you are worse than him. And that you better remember. We'll go into that in a second, all right?
Okay.
Questions online?
This question is from Malak Bun Yahawada. It says, Shalom, Yahawah Bashmil Shabrakatah, Salaki Adawan. But regarding the brother Julius Jones getting clemency, would it have been better to die than to get life without parole?
You gotta remind me what we're talking about. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what crime he committed or allegedly committed. I'm not sure what state it was, but there are 6 million petitions across the United States were signed for this brother named Julius Jones, who is set to be executed today. Murder in 1999. He was set to be executed today or yesterday or something like that. 6 million people in the United States signed a petition. The reason that this is known is because Kim Kardashian and J. Cole has signed petitions as well. So it's been passed around some celebrities or what have you.
And so the question is, would it have
Wouldn't
been
it have been better for him to die, to get put to death, than to face life without parole? I guess now that he's been given clemency, he still has to
understand what we're talking about. He was convicted of some murder, right?
Right, sentenced to
he
death.
got death. He received the death penalty for that murder, and now they communed his sentence. They took it away, meaning he's not going to die now.
He received clemency.
He received clemency, which means he did it, but they're giving him mercy and giving him life without parole. And he's saying, is it better to die than to have received life without parole? Well, let me ask you a question. Would you rather die or receive parole for life? Ask him that question. All right, next question. Go ahead.
Precept I would use is a living dog is better than a dead lion. Ecclesiasticus.
Well, let's see what the brother says.
Okay, so
let's see. Maybe he's going in. Maybe he say, no, kill me. Give me the electric chair. I don't want to see my kids or my wife or my friends anymore. I want to die. Maybe he'll do that. What you want to do is get into the school of universal practical knowledge. Do you understand? You want to be practical. Is it better to live or die? It's better to live. All right? Living is better than dying. Okay, any brother that gets out of jail, brother, I thank the Lord for him. Give him all a hand. You were able to do anything to get out of prison, guilty or not. You went into jail. You went in there a lot of years, man. He was already out of jail, but those brothers that were convicted of shooting Malcolm X, one of them at least was able to get off parole or do something good. That's a good thing. It's good to get out of jail. I don't know if y'all brothers know that. It's a good thing. All right? It's mercy. And what you want is you want mercy. You want the Lord to look down from heaven and decide to give you clemency for what you've done. So is it better to just say, kill me, than to turn down life with parole? Well, you got to ask me what you would do in this situation, huh? What would you do? Would you say, no, I would rather die than be on parole for life? If that's the case, you let me know. Come on now. Whatever they want to do is fine with me. I'm perfect. Go ahead. Everyone hot? You're hot or you're cold or you're perfect? Which one is it? Hot. Go ahead. Hook it up. Go ahead, Op. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of mercy, sir, there's a scripture I'm looking for in Revelation. You spoke about it before, but I'm paraphrasing it wrong. I can't get it, sir. But it's a scripture that says, when mercy runs out, it talks about mercy running out. And
there's a few precepts like that. Mercy runs out. It does. Question?
I was just looking for that scripture, sir, in Revelation, I believe it is.
I think I'm paraphrasing it by mercy runs out. It's so many precepts that are speaking about that. I can't recall that one off. You might need someone that takes diligent notes, but that's a precept. You gotta give me a second now. Okay, there's a few of them. Okay, let's go here. We good here now? Up front, online? Online, you there? Go ahead. Any more questions?
A brother wants a general breakdown of Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 17. They said, how is the branch smoking?
Okay, let's hear it.
This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 17. Then he said unto me,
you don't mind, be a little careful up there.
Hast thou seen this?
I know the Lord is with me, but I don't know how much. Hell, he might want that thing on my head. Lord forbid. Go ahead.
This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 17. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? Mm-hmm. For they have filled the land with violence, mm-hmm. and have returned to provoke me to anger. Mm-hmm. And lo, they put the branch in their nose.
Mm-hmm. That's talking about smoking, young brothers. Smoking weed, smoking tobacco, smoking. They put the branch to their nose because they're inhaling that branch. They set it on fire and they inhale it. This is drug addiction, right? And when the land falls to violence, inevitably you will see that drug addiction is accompanying it. Drug addiction has always accompanied violence. I'm talking about going back to Babylon, going back to Egypt. But always, right now, there are African countries getting high out of their mind on something called cut or caught, and they chew it and drink it and chew it and smoke it and go out and 13-year-old boys kill everyone in the damn town. And so that's where violence will inevitably be accompanied with drug addiction, and that's drug addiction, putting the branch to their nose. Everyone understands. All right, go ahead. Come. Let me try to knock these questions out, Akara, if I could.
The next question is from Kwasha. Says, Salakia, sir, can I get a general breakdown of Proverbs chapter 12, verses 17 through 20?
Go ahead.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 12, verse 17.
Go ahead.
He that speaketh truth sheweth forth righteousness.
He needs me to break that down?
We wanted verse 17 through 20. I guess break it
All
down.
right, you understand that. He that speaketh, read it one more time.
It's the book of Proverbs chapter 12, verse 17. He that speaketh truth sheweth forth righteousness.
He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, meaning when you tell the truth, you are showing and giving righteousness, right? As opposed to lying, right? Lying is how you show wickedness. Lying is what we receive in the Christian church. What most of you receive from your mothers and your fathers and your aunties, a bunch of lies, Christmas and Thanksgiving. You lie to your children as practice. For par for the course is just every day you lying to your children and then expecting them to grow up and be honest people. All right? You show your wickedness by lying all the time. Keep going.
But a false witness, deceit.
One second. But a false witness, deceit. What's a false witness? This is a precept about the justice system we have in the Israelite school of UPK and the one we had in ancient times in Israel, right? When if someone did a crime, that crime was reported to the judge, reported to the priest, right? If you lied and said someone committed a crime and you did not, then you paid whatever cost they would have paid if your lie would have worked. So if they were going to die because you accused them of being an adulterer, then you died if you lied about it and they were not an adulterer. Go ahead.
Like in the book of Susanna.
Perfect example. Give him a hand. Like in the book of Susanna, it was two evil priests who wanted to have sex with this woman. Y'all all right, huh? If you need my help, let me know, huh? You all right? Okay, no problem. It's all right. So now, if you lied and someone because of your lie was going to get killed, then you died once your lie was found out. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 18. There is that speaketh like the piercing of a sword.
There is one that speaks like the piercing of a sword, meaning he uses his words to hurt you. How? Because he lies. He says that you committed adultery. He saw you commit adultery, and he didn't, meaning he is trying to murder you with his words. Let me give you another way that people today murder you with false witness. When a white woman calls the cops on a black man who has done nothing, knowing that because she watches TV and has the internet, that black men are getting shot every day because the police are called on them even when they're unarmed. A white woman that picks up the phone and says, I feel threatened. He's trying to rob me. That's her bearing false witness against you. And she's doing it to get you killed. She's not just calling the police on you. She is attempting to murder you. That is her intent. She knows that if she calls on that phone and if she cries or if she's scared, the police will come rushing in and they will kill you before they even know if you have a gun. They will kill you regardless of whether or not you have a gun. It's irrelevant. Those devils on that truck shot that brother Ahmaud Arbery. He was jogging. They had the guns. They killed him. They did not get arrested. They got arrested 3 months later after the videotape came out, or a month later. He didn't have a gun. But he told the cops, the white man who shot him in the chest said he was threatening my life, even though he was the one with the gun. Because white people are terrified of you, and if you call the police saying there's a scary black man, they will come and kill you, and it's irrelevant whether or not you have a gun. It doesn't even matter, because you're threatening without a gun. You understand? Even if the cop has the gun, in this case, the devil said, well, I went up on him with my gun. I told him to stop. He grabbed my gun, and I was afraid he was going to take my gun and shoot me. And the cops didn't arrest him. Because you're scary without a gun. You might snatch their gun from them. So someone calling the police on you is trying to get you killed, Doc. They want you dead. Now, who else tries to kill you? Black and Hispanic women who pick up the phone because you have another woman, because they found a phone number in your phone. And they pick up the phone and start crying immediately when they pick up the phone. Can you tell him to get out of here? I want him to leave. I need him gone. He won't leave. He hit me. And lie to the cops. If you pick up the phone and you call the cops and you're lying, you're trying to get your husband murdered. You want him dead because you're not ignorant. You have a TV and a damn phone in your hand that tells you that when the police come to a house, they start shooting regardless of what is happening. They kill the black man. Well, if you know that and then you lied to a cop about a violent incident, then you're trying to get your husband killed. You want him dead. And you're going to be the same one crying over his dead body who needs to be kicked into a hole. Not saying that would happen to you, but that's what you deserve to happen to you, to be kicked into a hole and dirt put on your face because you called the cops and lied about a domestic abuse situation that never happened. Really, you were just angry because he has a woman, another woman. That's murder. That's attempted murder. That's for damn sure. Your words are like a piercing sword. You're trying to kill him with your phone call. You're killing him with 911. You're killing him with a false allegation of domestic violence. You're killing him with it. You understand? Go ahead.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, and verse 18 in the middle. But the tongue of the wise is health.
But the tongue of the wise is health. Zadok, you good to go. You're fine. You can get rid of that. But the tongue of the wise is health. Meaning what? If you're wise, when you use your mouth, you will help people, and people will be healthy, not in danger of dying. Right? They will live. Because when you talk, when you speak to anyone, you're making sure not to get someone killed. You're doing the right thing. Now, if you're a sister in the house, and if your husband is legitimately beating you, then you absolutely have the right to call the police, because everyone is allowed to defend themselves. And once again, you're a woman. You don't have any protection. You're weak and frail and helpless. And if that husband wanted to, he could grab you by your neck and kill you. And you could not stop him because you're a little baby girl. And you don't have any defense against him. So if he now, knowing that, is in the house and punching you in the face and choking you because he's drunk, or choking you because he's angry at you because you got so much mouth, then you by right can call those police, and I encourage you to do it. You're a sister in there getting beaten by some drunk idiot husband, and he's beating you in the house. Call the police on him. The police are going to be far more merciful with him than I will. Because if I found out he's doing it, let's move on to the next topic. Anything else?
Verse 19. The lip of truth shall be established forever.
You want to tell the truth, man. Don't lie and say your husband hit you, but really you hit yourself in the face. You ripped your own shirt so that when they come in, they can see your shirt is ripped. Don't manufacture tears like that white boy did on that trial. You black women, you do the same thing. You manufacture tears. Hispanic women, you do the same thing. You before the cops are called, you cursing, you little dick mother, you bitch, your mama's a hoe, you fuck, I'm okay. That bitch, you and that bitch can die. Nope, I got something for you. Hello? Can you please tell him to leave? I want him to leave. Why don't you shut the hell up? Why don't you stop faking so that you can get this brother killed. Stop doing that. He lives there. He gets mail there. It's on his ID. It's his house. You can't illegally evict a man with using the police. It's illegal. If you want him out and if your name is on the lease and his is not, then you give him 1 month written notice to leave. But you can't kick him out today. It's an illegal eviction. And you can't use your tears and your fake, you rip your own shirt or punch yourself in the face, which happens, Akim. They punch themselves in the face, hit themselves, make a bruise on themselves so they can have it to show to the cops. Am I telling you, brothers, something that you've never heard before? Raise your hand if what I'm saying is shocking and you've never heard it. Okay, then. Well, good, young brother. Young brother got his hand up. You're right. You've never heard of this, and that's a good thing. That means what we're doing is working. Give him a hand. Okay, one day this will be gone. It will never happen. Don't do that with your words. Don't use your words to hurt people up. And that's how, and false witness is how, bearing false witness is how people use their words to get people killed. Right? They're literally using their words to get people killed. All right? A lot of you snitches do the same thing. You go out and you sell drugs, and then you go on the stand and say, he did it. He was the one selling all the drugs. Well, meanwhile, you were selling drugs. You were doing it. But you go into the court, you take a deal, and then you go into the court, and you tell them that your best friend was the ringleader. Your best friend, some brother you grew up with. You put the whole case on him. You act like you just a drug addict. Tons of you do that. You tell them, no, I had this whole quarter key of drugs because I was going to use it all because I'm a drug addict. So really I need to go into a drug rehab program. But my friend, he's the one that sold it to me. He's the drug lord and the drug kingpin of East Harlem. And now you put him in jail and you go into a drug treatment center. You use your words to hurt him. You went up and took that stand and lied and made your culpability small and made your friends big. Now you put the whole case on him, and now you go to a drug rehab and your friend goes to prison for 15 years. You use your words to hurt him, to take the blame off of yourself. You sacrificed him to save your own life. Come on up, if you don't mind. It's the water. Next question. I believe, is that the answer or not? Where are we at now? 19. Come on.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 19 at the end. But a lying tongue is for a moment.
I just broke that down.
Concert.
Keep going.
Verse 20. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil.
Come on, I just broke that down. A ton of goddamn lies. Snitching on people so that you can get less time in jail. And so they can get more time in jail, right? A woman calling the police and manufacturing abuse in her mind and lying about it so she can get him killed. A Karen, a white woman, calling the police saying that she feels threatened so that the police can come and murder you. So all because she's annoyed by you, all because you inconvenienced her today. So now she gets you killed. Akim, if you want to eat, you can start eating now, all right? You don't have to wait if that's what you're waiting for, all right? Go ahead. I believe we're good here now. Solid. Any other questions? Questions in the room? Asher.
Counselor, I would like to go over scriptures about love, but
Sure.
not that mushy stuff.
What is that mushy stuff? What does that mean?
You have to. I feel like you know what I mean. That you gotta love someone. Yeah, like Valentine's, all that. None of that stuff.
Well, Valentine's Day is unlawful.
Counselor, I know.
Got you. But now are you saying that
I want to.
Explain that part, the mushy part.
Like the whole being soft,
Like, give me an example.
Like being weak.
Okay, being weak is
and compromising for someone because you love them.
Can you give me an example of that?
Your rib is telling you, let's say, don't go to camp. I want you to stay home with me. You don't spend enough time with me. I'm talking about, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
But
is that mushy?
I think that's soft, mushy, effeminate, weak. No.
I got you. Okay, I understand. Okay, what the reason I wanted you to elaborate, right? Because I know many times, okay, as you are learning about love and learning about manhood and masculinity, you can still get caught up into a trap of thinking that masculinity is what our oppressor says it is. And so mushy could be something like saying I love you, or giving your wife flowers, or giving her candy, or giving her compliments and telling her that she's beautiful and that she's wonderful and that you want to spend the rest of your life with her. In the world, they would consider that mushy, right? But that is a husband's duty. Right. You understand? To say things like that and to do things like that. That's your duty to do things like that. That's not wrong. Not only is it not wrong, it's required. It's in the Bible, right? So sometimes when everyone says, well, I don't know about that mushy love would mean saying I love you. Giving her flowers, giving her kisses, giving her compliments, ignoring things about her that displease you, and emphasizing things about her that please you, right? That's not mushy, that's a husband's duty. You do that because a woman is what? Levi?
She's emotional and a weaker vessel.
I want to know that you're here in this classroom today, that you're paying close attention, because a woman is what?
She is defenseless, sir.
She's defenseless. Give him a hand. She can't protect herself. She is easily harmed. Do you understand? So many brothers, I know you don't know why. Do you know how harmful words are to a woman? My God, you could destroy a woman with words. With words, with something you say. So you can say a thing to a woman to cave her mind in because you said it. And now to her, it's like she was assaulted. And men don't quite understand it because you're big and you're tough and you're strong and you're not helpless and defenseless. But a woman is absolutely defenseless. You can say something to her and it ends her entire self-esteem. She has no more self-esteem. She drops to the floor. She cries all day. To her, it's like a physical harm. It's like someone stabbed her. And she feels the pain, like physical pain, because you said this thing to her. She's helpless, huh? She's a helpless, frail creature in the palm of your hand. Knowing that, be kind to her because she's helpless. And the Most High God looks down from heaven to see how you treat people who can't defend themselves against you up. The Lord looks at that. The Most High looks down from heaven and sees, how do you treat people who you are bigger than, who can't defend themselves against you? We see our oppressor. He's the number one superpower on the earth. He owns everything, has everything, the military, the police, the government, the Congress, the church, the welfare system. And yet he comes into the neighborhood and beats up little kids standing on a street corner and shoots children of 9 years old, right? He's cruel to the people who he is more powerful than. Well, in your home, you're more powerful than her. She can't fight you. She can't defend herself against you. She can't even argue with you in a way that she could possibly hurt you the way you can hurt her. It's just not true, right? So being mushy, what people call being mushy, is in many ways just being gallant, being a hero in your home. I know that's an old term, which you probably never use anymore, but it is something that is a very heroic term and a UPK term, to be gallant when it comes to a woman, to be a hero in her eyes. You understand? Continue.
So I wanted to know, could I use the concept of love according to the Bible, which is, obeying God's law, statutes, and commandments? Can I use that concept and pair it with the laws about the priest feeding the people, or the priest taking care of the people? Examples of, for example, going out and crushing fake beliefs because you actually love your people and you want to steer them back to the Lord. Can that be used and paired to love according to the Bible?
Absolutely, it already is.
Okay,
love is the reason for every commandment. Love is the reason for every judgment. Love is the reason for every stoning in the Bible and every beheading in the Bible. Love. Love is the root of every judgment that the world would consider cruel. Love is the reason for that judgment. Right? The Lord loves us so much that if a person does something that is so terrible, and if this thing catches on, we will begin to hurt each other. He stones that person and cuts their head off. Why? Not so he can have 1 million people that have no head. So he can have one person with no head, and everyone else is fearful to ever do it. And because of that, we all are nice to each other now. We treat each other better, right? Because we don't want to have our heads cut off. The purpose for that very violent act is love. It's love. So he kills drug dealers, which are witches in the Bible. He kills them. Because if you kill this drug dealer, and if everybody knows about it, then your little son doesn't become a drug addict, and your daughter doesn't sell her body for drugs. He kills him out of love. Love is the reason and the root and the force behind every act in the Bible that's done of God. It's the fuel that fuels it, the fire that keeps it going. Love is everything, and there's nothing else. And love is the reason for every commandment. Love is the reason for what Christ did for the nation of Israel. Love is the reason that David killed Goliath. Remember he said that? David looked out on the battlefield, and he saw that Goliath was over there daring any of the men of Israel to come and fight him. Come on.
He said, who is this uncircumcised heathen?
That's what he said. He said, who is this uncircumcised heathen that he should defy the armies of the living God? Who is he? Out of love, because this heathen had his brothers scared. And he looked out and saw it. He saw they were terrified to go fight this cat. And out of love, he took off his head. Out of love. And what happened after the Goliath was killed? All of the armies of Israel chased the Philistines and killed all the rest of them. They flee. They went and ran after Goliath got killed, and the armies of Israel pursued them. Before you know it, courage spread all throughout the camp. That was done out of love. Everything, and especially the greatest act of love in history, the greatest man that ever lived, giving his life for drug addicts and drug dealers and pimps and hoes and niggers and spicks. That's the greatest act of love ever. You understand? Yes, sir. Was that your point or something else? Solid up front. Someone go ahead.
Oh, sorry, so that's what I was going to say. In the law, it says, prostitute not thy daughter that the land. Prostitute not thy daughter that the land not follow wickedness. Now you have all these issues about women being beaten and killed and all that. Whereas if they would follow the Bible, none of these issues would have been going on, like in Brazil, etc.
Someone find me the numbers of the women that have been killed in Brazil, and the numbers, the femicide that happened in Mexico. I want to say it was the 90s or the 2000s. Early 2000s. Give me that, and then we'll do the baby story right now, right? Can we get it on online or not?
Yeah, the baby story is right here, sir.
Solid. All right. Everyone, do I have to play it? Everyone has seen it by now, a little bit of it, right? At least. Ephraim in the back. Please go ahead.
2019 to 2021. In 2019, the Mexican government recorded 1,006 incidents of femicide, a 10% increase from 2018. The overall number of women who died violently in Mexico also increased, rising to 10 killings per day in 2019 from 7 per day in 2017.
10 per day, 7 a day. A day in Mexico. All right, in a year. In a year. Go ahead.
In 2013, 4,762 women were murdered in Brazil. And 50.3% of these crimes were committed by family members, and 33.2% of these crimes were committed by the current or ex-partner.
We went over this earlier before most of you were here, right? That during times of great poverty, or in a country of great poverty, or a neighborhood of great poverty, when poverty becomes unbearable, inevitably, women will begin to be killed. It always happens. Come on.
Salakia, sure. Right on in Brownsville, where I live at, a guy just gave his wife fentanyl and bust her heart open.
Yeah. You're going to see that's going to rise, right? When people don't have jobs, they don't have a future, they don't have security of where they can live, when they're depressed, when men begin to be frustrated because they don't have a job and they can't feed their family or take care of their children. And of course, those same men begin to excess in alcohol and drug abuse, right? Then they will take that anger out on the person in their life that cannot fight back. And that's your wife. She can't help herself. She can't fight back. You can hurt her, you can kill her, and she can't stop you. There's nothing that she can do, right? This happens over and over and over throughout history. It's a common occurrence. This is where certain laws that we have in America to try to protect women, because inevitably if that husband loses his job and drinks all day, he is going to break her jaw. It's going to happen. She's not going to be perfect in every word to soothe his pain, because he's coming home what? With low self-esteem, miserable, sad, depressed, and before you know it, she says something that makes him angry. And then he breaks her jaw and then wraps her up in a shower curtain and hides her. I use that term because that happened to someone I knew when I was young. She married some cat. He was a drug addict. He lost his job. Before you know it, we looking for her. Where is she? She's wrapped up in a shower curtain in a closet. All right, that's just one story that I know about. All right, that's all the time. And as poverty comes, now when men have jobs and they're feeling good and they got brand new cars and they're paying their rent, then they have more patience with a woman with a loud mouth. Do you understand? But when a woman has a loud mouth and they are depressed, baby girl, you're about to get killed in that house. Do you understand? That's what happens, all right? I'm just pulling the numbers to tell you how, and I'm using Mexico and Brazil. My God, you pick a country. You can just pick any one you feel like picking. These numbers are going to raise, let alone the fact that during these times, women begin to go deep into prostitution because they're poor. And when a woman becomes a prostitute, or when men see women as prostitutes, they become a thing, not a person anymore. They become a thing. It's not like they're a human. You understand? A prostitute is not a human being. Like, she's a thing for pleasure. Well, what gives you pleasure? Putting your penis in her. What gives you pleasure? Tying her up. What gives you pleasure? Smacking her. What gives you pleasure? Choking her and watching the life go out of her eyes. She can just be for whatever pleasure you have. And that's what happens in these countries. A woman is a prostitute, she's getting killed. That happens in America. My God, how many people did Ted Bundy killed? Ted Bundy killed, look up Ted Bundy's numbers of prostitutes he killed. It's like an insane number. Julie Hunter told me you better watch whoever's a truck driver. Because whoever is a truck driver, shalom, all right? Be careful, brothers, all right? If you're going to drive trucks, don't be a white man. Don't act like a white man truck driver. Go ahead, up front.
Salakia, sir. Theodore Robert Bundy was an American serial killer who kidnapped, raped, and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 1970s and possibly earlier. After more than a decade of denials, he confessed to 30 homicides committed in 7 states between 1974 and 1978.
That's one serial killer. How many more is it? Divine, Ty, and what's that one? BTH? Divine, Ty, and Killer? Go ahead.
BTK.
BTK, he's another one. He finds prostitutes, binds them, ties them, and kills them. How many did he do? Look him up. I'm naming 2 of them. You know how many of these are? You could write a book. People write books about these serial killers that kill prostitutes. They make books about these things. It's normal. You get my point? It's common. Now, why do they happen? They happen because women are helpless. Because women are absolutely helpless. Now, with that, let's go to the DeBaby story, right? So this happened this week where DeBaby went live on Instagram, and he, let's play a little bit of it. Go ahead. plug this in? What city is this one? Gentlemen, y'all ask Naya Thok to call it Issacharite sister, please. Go ahead. You need a minute? Oh, shit. They can't just see the thing? Maybe this is fine. This might be all right. But everyone has seen it already, right? I'll take this if you can just let the sound play.
And that charges were filed against Danny Lay. According to officers, November 14th, they responded to a domestic assault call for service at a home. Upon arrival, DeBaby said that he had been assaulted by Danny Lay. And then in a separate incident on November 15th, officers responded to a disturbance at the same location where he did say that she had assaulted him. She was served with a criminal summons for simple assault. They also got a...
It's about time. What's going on? Rumor report, rumor report.
This is the Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
Well, according to a rep from the police department in Charlotte, they said there were 2 incidents involving DeBaby and Danny Lay, and that charges were filed against Danny Lay. According to officers, November 14th, they responded to a domestic assault call for service at a home. Upon arrival, DeBaby said that he had been assaulted by Danny Lay. And then in a separate incident on November 15th, officers responded to a disturbance at the same location where he did say that she had assaulted him. She was served with a criminal summons for simple assault. They also got additional information that led them to charge her with a second count of simple assault from the previous event, according to a statement. Now, DeBaby has gone on live several times, at times with Danny Lay in the other room, and he did say that he would be a father no matter what.
Long story short, you make them kids, deal with what come with it, handle them kids. But don't let nobody play with your character, man, and damage your integrity as a father out here. Don't let nobody play real life games for a fake world. I'm an entertainer, I rap, I do what I do, but when it comes to like parents and like, I don't wish to mix the two.
Grandchild.
Day in the life. Shouted, mama, you ain't even met your grandbaby yet.
Fast forward.
All right, that's how y'all had to see my baby for the first time, and to get her out safely. Just know we are continuing to do everything we can to make sure her and the baby are good. God is on our side.
How she spelled the?
But prior to that, DeBaby called Danny Lay a side bitch.
Shouted is not my girl. Ain't never been my girl. Is my side bitch.
It's your what?
My side bitch. Shouty is a certified side bitch.
Embarrassing me like that.
Shouty is a certified side bitch. Just trying to act like she ain't.
Well, she posted all kinds of evidence that she was not just a side chick. You know, she posted him taking her on a boat for her birthday, pictures of them kissing, him saying that he loves her, all kinds of things.
Yeah, I don't understand why guys talk about the mother of their children like that, because when you talk to the mother of your child like that, you got to ask yourself some questions. If she was just a side chick, why you shot her club up? Why you impregnated her? Why was you hitting it raw? Like I got homeboys who complain about their baby mothers all the time, and I'm like, well, you chose to let off in her. So, you know, you should respect the mother of your child.
You could tell it's very emotional, but it's very nasty and very disgusting, honestly.
And you want her to be as peaceful as possible. If it's a bad situation, somebody's just got to leave. You know, and even if you have to leave for a while just to make sure that you're not going to get into an altercation, going live and antagonizing her, she just had a baby. The baby is 3 months old.
She might be. Stop right there. 3 months, she just had a baby. You should walk away, right? You should walk away. If a woman is beating you, you should leave. You should just leave while she's beating you. You should realize that, she just had a baby. Now, what if he hit her? What if instead of her hitting him, what if he hit her? Should she walk away? Right? If a woman beats you, let me show sisters something they don't know. Raise your hand if a woman has ever hit you. Raise your hand. All right, look around, everybody. Sisters, look at that. You see that right there, right? See that? Right, that's every brother. You understand? Every man who lives, I would say 90% of men. I think Zadok and Ephraim, the only ones that don't have their hand up. Zadok is 13 or something, 12. 12. All right. Every man has been assaulted by a woman. Every last one. Has anyone ever told them to walk away? Has anyone ever said, well, listen, when he hit you, sister, you need to leave. You need to walk away when that man smacks you. He smacks you and you see he's doing that. Just walk away. Don't escalate it. Has anyone ever said that? Why? Why have they not said that to you? First of all, that's common. That is a common saying. That if a woman is hitting you with a frying pan, who told me that recently? Lord, some brother had to have a counsel. He told me, he was talking to another woman on his phone. And he said she came up behind him and hit him with a cast iron frying pan. And it was so sad because he said, sir, it hurt so bad, I didn't know where I was. I said, damn, that's hardcore, Rock. Oh, I got one of those things. That's something to get hit with up. Somebody just come up behind you with, like the cartoons, like the Tom and Jerry. Kapakagow. He said, sir, it hurts so bad. When he said, sir, it hurts so bad, I damn near hugged him. Because he said, sir, it hurts so bad. I said, God damn it, that bitch. I was hurt over it. Why didn't she just walk away? I'm trying to show you something, Akim. No one ever tells a woman to walk away. Right. But they always tell a man to walk away. Why? Because you're bigger. Because you're stronger. Because no one ever tries to teach her self-control. They teach you self-control because you're the man. Because you're bigger and you're stronger. And so because of that, women learn never to have self-control. They learn to just hit whenever they feel like hitting. They want to scratch you, they scratch you. It's your job to leave the room. It's your job to walk out the house. And then when you go to walk away, what happens? Where the hell you going? You ain't going nowhere. You trying to leave? She's going to put her body in front of the door. You're going to go to the door to walk away. You ain't going to just walk out on this family. And she puts her body in front of the door. And you stand there as she's blocking you from leaving. Now you're in the between. Now what do I do? They tell me I got to leave. She won't let me leave. What do I do? Kill her right here. Kill the bitch, punch her in the face. It's a terrible thing, all right? And also all of these things happen in front of the child. This story is not peculiar. This is your house. This is the house a lot of you grew up in. Watching your mother and father give poisonous words to one another. Poisonous words, say terrible things to each other in front of the baby. I mean, when I say the baby, I mean the actual, the little baby. All right. The physical baby, all right. Go back to the other video. All right. There's a baby in the video sitting there crying the whole time. That's normal. All right. This is the point you want to understand with this story. This story happens to everyone. It happens all the time, right? And of course, as women watch this story, women feel sorry for her because he called her one of the most terrible phrases that ever have been said in all womanhood. Side bitch, side bitch, side bitch, side bitch. Being called that destroyed her out, which is my point earlier. That word destroyed her. It crippled her to be called. And even so, this one right here, She said he called her a side bitch, even though he said before that he had loved her. And that he loved her. But yet he called her a side bitch when we have actual physical proof that he loves her. Because that killed her to be called a side bitch out. It destroyed her. It destroyed women who heard it. Like the women who heard it went, oh my God. They felt that she was justified in assaulting him because he called her a side bitch. And that is violence in itself. It's violent. The insult is violence to a woman. Now, let me give you the problem with life here in America. All right? I got to move on because I have another one to do. Women, on one hand, want you to be delicate with them. They don't want you to call them side bitches. They don't want you to walk out the door in the middle of an argument, even if it means walking out the door will avoid them getting hit. They want you to stay in that house and be kind to them in the middle of a fight. That's what they want. But here's the problem. At the same time, they want enough power to put you in jail because they cried on the phone to a cop. What this brother did right here, DeBaby, he did what he had to do not to go to jail. Do you understand? What you saw this brother do on this tape, he had to do it. At the end of this fight, guess who went to jail? Her. 2 counts of simple assault. Now raise your hand if you or anybody you know of have ever went to jail when the woman hit you first. Raise your hand. That's about as common as it could be. Where she's going to hit you, and you're going to jail when she calls the cops. And she assaulted you, and you're going to stand there in front of the cops trying to tell them, no, she hit me. No, she did it. And the cop is looking at you like, Ted, right, like you are a serial killer. He's looking at you like, whatever, get in the car, man. Get in the car. Come on, let's go. Come on.
You basically have to act like a soccer player getting fouled, throw yourself on the floor, run around and hold your knees.
And you'll never look as harmless as her because she's crying and she ripped her shirt before the cop got there. So you can't ever look more harmless than she can look. If DeBaby did not call the cops, which is what every woman is focusing on, how did he call the cops on his baby's mother? He called the police on her. What if he didn't? What if he didn't? He would have been in jail. He would have been in jail if he didn't call the cops. Why did he put it on live? Why did he go live when it happens? Who wants to answer this obvious question? Up front.
To get it on tape.
He needed it on tape. It had to, if this fight was not on tape, DeBaby is going to jail. He's going to the jail. Come on.
Because everyone thinks, oh, how awful it is. He called the cops on his baby mama. But what about she called the cops on her baby daddy?
Brother, if he doesn't call the cops, and if he's not on film, DeBaby is going to jail that day. That's what's going to happen. And I don't have to tell you that. You know that. Women know that. Women know. Now, what's the problem? Here's the problem, daughters. If you're going to be so strong and so powerful, then men are not going to treat you like you're weak. Men are going to protect themselves from you. And that's what you're watching on this video. What you're watching is a man who finally said, I'm going to protect myself from this violent woman. For 100 years, I've been taught, grab her arms. When she goes to scratch you, hold her so she can't hit you. Don't ever hit her. First, what's the routine, brothers? A woman goes to hit you, what do you do first? Step 1, what do? You tell her to back away. You say back away. Step 2?
You protect your face.
You guard yourself, you grab her, right? You hold her down. Then when you hold her down, she'll say, get off me, get off me, get off me. After she says that, what do? Walk away, right? But when you go to walk away, what happens? She stands in front of the door. She says, you ain't leaving. So then she attacks you. Then finally, over so much frustration, you grab her by the neck and you say, get away from me. That just left marks on her neck. The minute after, as soon as you grab her neck, can you come and get him out of here? Cop comes, sees the marks on your neck, you go to jail, right? DeBaby, what he did was absolutely wise. And you better learn from it if you have this kind of woman. This is what you better do. Because if you do not do this, you're going to jail. I don't have to teach this out. This teaches itself. This is your life. This is what is going to happen in your home. So everything he did that's looked at as so terrible to do to a woman is what you must do so that you don't go to jail. You have to do it. Am I making myself clear? Now, go ahead.
Also, people looking at that as soft. That's not so. You should defend your life.
Well, he should have just got beaten and got scratched, and he should have just taken it. Here's the point, Ak. This is terrible. It's disgusting. It was in front of a child, and it's ubiquitously done every day, right? And it's what you better do if you're in this situation if you don't want to go to jail. You better start filming. You better get it on camera. You better be, you see how he's even sitting in the chair as she's above him, making it clear that he's not the aggressor? That's what you better do if you don't want to go to jail. It was textbook perfect evidence for court. That's what this was. It was perfect in every way. It was like I taught it to him. That's what you have to do to be able to go to court and go, Your Honor, it was not me. I was sitting there, and I was just sitting there. And guess what else he did? Then while she's beating him, he starts to use his words to hurt her. He attacked her with those, and that's legal, Akim. It's legal to say you're a side bitch. No judge can say that's illegal. He called her a side bitch, which hurt her feelings in an amazing way, but it's not unlawful in America. But it is unlawful when she goes to strike him because he called her a side bitch. It was perfect, God. It was textbook. It was how you can avoid going to jail if you have a woman who can't handle her own emotions, who can't handle the fact that you have another woman, who's going to hurt you, scratch your face, cut up your clothing, assault you because you have another wife. It was textbook protection against going to prison. Come on.
But you know what they're going to say in court? That the verbal abuse led to the emotional abuse, which caused her to lash out at him physically.
Well, that is her defense, but she's still going to get convicted with simple assault. That's what you have to say, hoping that the judge will go, oh, she's just a little baby. She couldn't help her woo herself. What else do you have? She's a woman. All she has is the fact that she's weak. Ephraim.
Slaka, sir, was that the breakdown to Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 23?
Mm-hmm.
That was it right there?
Yes, it was.
The water, sir.
Absolutely. Now that I've broken that down, now let me explain something else to you. Listen carefully. What he did was not heroic. It was not gallant. It was not something that is masculine to do. Do you understand? What DeBaby did was not masculine. It was effeminate. It was a feminine thing to do. His wife is arguing with him. He won. Now here's the other side. Show the video, please, so I can show you the other side. Show the actual video. This woman had a baby 3 months ago. Now I don't know if men know this, right? But when a woman has a baby, right after the baby, there's something called postpartum depression. And she's going through terrible emotions out there.
One of the
Go ahead. She's going through a terrible emotional fit. It's chemical. She doesn't have a choice. You understand? It's something in her brain where all of the pheromones and the separation from having this baby living in her, being connected to the baby, then the baby is not in her. And there's a sense of death inside of her, like he's gone, even though he's here, but it's like chemically, it's like he's been taken out. And it's called postpartum depression. And so many women suffer from it. Sisters, have you ever heard of this before? Sisters who have children, right? It's common. And so there's a time after a baby when a woman just does not have control over her emotions are. She's depressed because she has lost the baby. Do you understand? From inside of her. And so it's good that she holds the baby and reminds herself that the baby is still here. The baby is still here. He's still here. I still have the baby, because her brain is saying he's gone. Do you understand? And that's called postpartum depression. From losing the baby inside of you, now transitioning to having the baby outside of you. And this sister has it. You can look at her face if you've seen this before. Her face says she has it. That she's depressed and sad from just having this baby, and she's not thinking clearly. Go ahead and play it.
And try to position yourself in a career through a child turning one of a good example of a black father being tore down. We ain't doing that. We ain't about to let that be.
Right there.
Get it? I set it up at the penthouse down here in the city, but I'm making shit clear.
Talk about it?
I'm making shit clear.
Right
Here you go. That's cool. But I'm making shit clear that I'm making, and it's the thing.
Everybody go ahead, clear your
and I'm glad y'all know. Here,
go ahead, clear your nose.
Here, come here.
Go ahead, you scared?
And I'm glad. No, I'm not scared. Look, and I'm glad she walked out. So as you can see, nobody was put out. And me calling the police, that's like for my safety, because this what I'm dealing with. Like, this a real deal, cuckoo for cocoa. Look, this is a real deal. Like, shawty really cuckoo, and she's still here. So nobody was put out.
The woman is crazy.
Nobody was put out. No, this ain't we ain't got to make this a sexist thing.
And fuck all this shit, and me, I'll be okay with that, guys. And me come back and live here and stay in this fucking house with our child.
I don't want you to stay.
I can pause. I might have to give y'all a clinic on women. I know you don't know a goddamn thing about women, right? And because of that, you err in much in life, because you go and have sex with women, but you don't understand them. What is actually happening right here? Who knows? I will be impressed if anyone knows. Levi. Go ahead.
He got other women, sir.
No, that's true, of course, but that's not what I'm talking about. What is she saying? Right? What is she saying? Not with her words, but with, I'm trying not to give it to you, Akkad. No, that's not what she's saying. Asher.
She's saying, I love you, I want you here. I want you to take care, I want us to be a family.
Okay, you're analyzing her words, but let me just, sis, come on. Okay, both you, Asher and you are coming around. You see what she's doing when she's touching him? She wants to kiss him. She wants to make up. She wants, like this whole, you ever argue with a woman, she's arguing with you, she's up in your face, like there's something, and you looking and it's like, there's something sexual happening in the middle of the fight. Right. But you are mad as hell. But somewhere in this fight, she starts to touch you and get all close to you and grab you. But her pride won't let her just say, I'm sorry, kiss me. She wants to kiss him. She wants this to stop. She started it, but she doesn't want it to keep going. You understand? Even though she started it. But she's hoping that this will end. And that's the point of the laying on him, the touching him, the grabbing him, where you're thinking, what the hell, get off of me. I thought we were fighting because you're a man. But in her mind, it's like, yeah, I started this fight, but I don't want this to go on anymore. I want you to put me on the bed. I want you to hug me and kiss me and stop this. I want you to, in the middle of a fight, this is what she's hoping. She's hoping that you'll F you. She's hoping that will happen. That in her mind, it's like, but women and men can't communicate that well. You get my point? It's like the difference between men and women, where you don't know that her in your face and her ripping at your clothes is not a violent altercation. It is her way of saying, through pride, let's stop arguing. And it's ridiculous. And it's dysfunctional, because she should be able to go, I'm sorry. I know I said this, but I don't want to fight anymore. I want you to kiss me. I'm sorry, I should have never did this. She should be able to, but she can't, right? And it puts a woman in a terrible situation because she doesn't have self-control. So she starts a fight, but in the middle of it, she starts getting very close to your face, all the way up on you, all the way close to you. And you like, bitch, get away from me. What you? In your mind, you think she's trying to, attack you. That's not an attack, God. That's not what it is. But you almost have to learn it, and it takes self-control on your part to learn it. Let me keep going. I'm sorry, if you don't mind. One more, all right? Let me play a little more, then I'll just break this down and go to the other one. Go ahead. And then, of course, give you the precepts.
This one of them real movies, man. Y'all look tune in and see what we dealing with.
For sure.
Shout it really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Real life, man. It ain't.
Talking for myself.
I'm not going.
Because you're calling me a crazy ass woman on the internet trying to make me look bad because your ass was trying to pick me out to go to a hotel with our 3-month baby. What?
Listen.
What?
Listen.
You just gonna...
I got the entire night. Shout it. Can I do my live?
No. Go ahead, do your live.
That's why the folks got to come get her out of here, man.
No, I'm leaving. Trust me, I'm leaving.
God,
but I need my stuff from
really
your house so I can leave here forever.
Why do you have stuff in my house?
I've been trying. And this went on and on and on. At the end of this, somehow the police came and arrested her for two simple assaults, right? Now, let me tell you something General Yohana told me. This had to be 20 years ago or 17 years ago. We were in an apartment in Co-op City, the Bronx, right? And General Yohana was just breaking down the difference between women and men and women and men. And he said the problem with women, Ak, is a woman is like a little baby in the corner with a big gun. That's women. So they're little, tiny, little adorable babies, but they have a giant gun in their hand. So you as a man, you would like to go, oh, come here. And that baby wants you to pick them up. And the world looked at you like, why don't you treat her like a baby? Why don't you walk away? Why don't you, not call the cops on her? Don't do that to the mother of your child. Everyone sees that she's a baby. But the problem is this little baby has a giant gun in her hand. Right. So it puts every man in the situation of, do I treat her like a baby or do I make sure I don't get shot? And that is the situation that women put you in. You would love to go, I'd never call the cops on her. I would never separate her from the children. I would never take her to court. I would never embarrass her on live because she's a little baby. But then what about the gun? If I treat her like a baby, I'm getting shot. I'm going to jail. I'm going to lose my kids. I'm going to child support court. And it puts every man in this situation of choosing, of deciding, will I treat her like a baby or will I protect myself? And what you're going to find in these last days is more and more men are going to decide we have to start protecting ourselves because we're in jail over her. We're in jail over fighting her cousins and her brother and her child support. And she's assaulting us and we're losing our kids because of something that she's done. And women are putting men in this situation where they're forced to focus on the gun, not the baby. But let me tell you how things are done in the kingdom of heaven. Let me tell you how things are done in the right way. Every woman is a beautiful little baby. She's a baby. And you treat her like a little baby. And she will act like a baby. She will behave like a baby. She won't show her power and strength to stop you from having another woman, to stop you from leaving, to make the cops come and kick you out of your home. She won't use the gun. She'll put the gun away. And now, if every woman could just tell themselves, I am helpless. I have no defense if a man doesn't defend me. If a man doesn't stick up for me, I'm dead. I'm dead like the femicide in Mexico, the femicide in Brazil, and the victims of Al Bundy and various serial killers in America. I am hopeless unless a man cares for me. And then we will raise men that care for those babies. And now because of that, a woman never is tough. She's never expected to be strong or anything like that. And now you as a man, when your wife gets on your damn nerves, you will be gallant to her. Look up the word gallant. Salakia says, give her the microphone.
So that's what happens in the 80s and the 80s and wait, what is it? 80s, the 80s and the 70s. Why women can't keep their mouth closed and they scare their man away?
Yes, daughter, give her a hand. Because, and here's the problem: the stronger of a persona that a woman has, it makes men go, "Oh, you so strong, I'm killing you." And when I hear about when I hear about you getting killed, I don't care. No one cares anymore because they don't consider you human. They don't consider you a little baby. What women have to do is do the thing that it makes every man remember, I'm helpless. If a man doesn't help me, I'm done. If you don't protect me, I'm done. And there is times in history, especially with the devil, where he teaches his women to have that persona, which is why the cops will come and kill you if a white woman calls on the phone. Because in his mind, this woman is helpless. So when that 911 calls and it's Karen on the other line, that man is coming to kill whoever has offended Karen. Because in a white man's mind, Karen is helpless. Karen is a baby. The problem is with black and Hispanic women, we teach our women to be false strong, false tough, false I'm not taking no shit from nobody. And because of that, your husband goes, I better protect myself from you then, because you got all the power. And the cops go, she can handle herself. She don't need the cops. Even the cops don't care about black women getting killed, Mexican women getting killed, Brazilian women getting killed. Even the cops don't care. Because the cops look at you like, you're tough. Give me Sojourner Truth. Am I not a woman? Up on the screen. Am I not a woman by Sojourner Truth, written in the goddamn 1800s? Come on.
The definition for gallant, sir, is brave, heroic.
Brave, heroic. Any more?
Giving special attention and respect to women.
That's what gallant means. Women should get special protection. Just like, read my mind, children. Children are given special protection. Everyone knows, well, this kid can't protect himself, so I better protect him. I better watch him. I better, when he does something bad, I can't abuse him because he's a child. So I have to correct him, but not too much because he's a baby. Children are afforded that kind of protection. And with a woman, a man should be gallant. You should be able to give her special protection. The white woman gets it. You should be able to give it to a black or Hispanic woman. Here's the problem. Our women have been taught to get a gun of their own to protect themselves. So our men go, shit, I got to protect myself from you because I'm in danger from you. Give me, Am I Not a Woman by Sojourner Truth. Come on. You can read it. If you got it on your phone, just read it for me. Come on.
I believe you brought this scripture out many times before where it talks about how a woman is nigh unto Eve, and that's where we get naive for.
Yeah.
And that it's related to children because they're
naive. Right. They're easily fooled. Right. Come on.
Can you go over what scripture that is again?
I'm talking, well, that's the Garden of Eden. The whole Eve thing is what I'm referring to. It's how Satan or the serpent beguiled her to go against her husband and then to convince her husband to do it. She was naive to that serpent. She didn't get that he was fooling her and tricking her to hurt her. She's a child. And when this world gets beautiful under Command and General Yohana, every woman will embrace it like white women have. White women just embrace being helpless. I feel in danger. I feel threatened. I don't feel comfortable here. And everybody gets fired on the job because this white woman said, I'm feeling unsafe. This is not a safe environment. This is not a safe place. You're getting fired because the white man considers her a baby and he's trying to be gallant towards her. So he kills you when she calls. But your wife is a tough, hard as brick, bastard with a gun who don't take no shit off of no man, who don't take no shit off of you, who ain't letting you play her. So the white man lets you kill her. He doesn't even give a damn. And either you get killed by her or you make sure she doesn't hurt you in court, which is what DeBaby did. So if you have a wife who is tough and strong, then you better film, brother, because you're in danger of getting shot by her gun. What's her gun? The power that the white man gives her. the court system, the police, the child support. That's her gun. And you got to protect yourself against her. And that's what DeBaby did. And this was wise and smart and what you should do. Am I making myself clear? At the same time, you should choose a woman who is soft and weak and frail, who inspires gallantry in your mind, who makes you want to be her hero, who you would say, I'll never call the cops on you, never. No, I'll handle you. I'm not calling the cops on you. Nah, I'm not doing that. I see that you have postpartum depression. I see you're going through something right now. I see you're sad and depressed. Baby, stop all of this. Stop all of this. And you just in the middle of the fight, kiss her. And then before you know it, all your problems go away. I pray you understand.
She gonna cry in your chest.
Oh, my God. Give him a hand. Yeah. In the middle of the whole fight, you just turn the table over, flip over everything in the damn house, and begin to show her your appreciation. And you will be well received. I pray you understand. You will be well received. All right, where are we at right now? Go ahead, please.
Young Dolph and then Henry Ruggs.
This is the last thing on the whole with DeBaby, right? This is by Sojourner Truth. Someone read that, please. Then we go to the Henry Ruggs. Oh, and the Dolph thing. I forgot. How much time we have? Kadazar?
We have about 35 minutes.
Okay. Go ahead, read that quickly.
Ain't I a Woman by Sojourner Truth. Well,
most of you have heard of Sojourner Truth before, right? She was a famous abolitionist, meaning she fought for the end of slavery and fought for America to change the laws to abolish slavery, which is what the term abolitionist means, all right? Go ahead.
Well, children, where there is so much racket, there must be something out of Kittler. I think that twixt the Negroes of the South and the women at the North, all talking about rights.
This was a time when women were fighting for the right to vote in America, right? So women were fighting, talking about the right to vote, the right to vote, the right to vote. Go ahead.
All talking about rights. The white man will be in a fix pretty soon. Mm-hmm. But what's all this here talking about?
Can I pause you for one more second to explain to the white people and judges and cops listening and the FBI listening on why the UPK says the white man is the devil? The white man is a very old term. It was the term back in slavery that we used for white people. The white man, right? In the UPK, as everything, we just keep it. But it's a old term where everyone was called the man. The Chinese man, the white man, this man. So the white man is an old term that we didn't invent. Everyone understands. Go ahead.
That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lift over ditches.
That man over there says that women need to be helped in the carriages. Back then, this is before cars. So a woman was stepped up on a horse and carriage. And someone put their hand out so that she could take their hand and they would lift any random woman that they saw up on a carriage. Keep going.
And lift over ditches.
And if there was a ditch that was in the middle of the street, the streets at that time were not paved. They were, barely streets at all for horses to go down. There were many potholes. And if there was a pothole there and a man was there, he automatically said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And he lifted out his arms to pick her up and to carry her over a ditch. That was what was expected of a man at that time. Keep going.
And to have the best place everywhere.
And so now, if anybody comes into the room, there's a seat on the bus or a seat on the carriage. If a woman walked in, would you like my seat? Would you like to sit here? You always gave way to her delicateness because she was small. And if you didn't step up and give her something, she didn't get anything. So a man who wanted to be a man would say, well, take mine because I know you don't get a seat unless I give you mine. You're not able to walk down the street even unless I carry you. So men who were gallant began to do that to show that they were heroic and that they could be kind to someone who was helpless. Right. Keep going.
Nobody ever helps me into carriages.
Read that again.
Nobody ever helps me into carriages.
Read it again.
Nobody ever helps me into carriages.
But not the black and Hispanic woman. She's watching white women get physically carried over a ditch. She's watching white women get helped in the carriages. Meanwhile, not a goddamn soul ever picks her up, ever reaches out their hand to put her into a carriage. Never. They never did that for her. Never. Because she was a black woman. She was an Hispanic woman. And everyone just thinks that they're rough and tough and they carry big guns. And this was going on in the this is whenever the right to vote was happening. That's when she wrote this poem. She's saying this back then. Keep going.
It's 1851. Sir.
1851. Keep going.
Or over mud puddles.
Go ahead.
Or gives me any best place.
No one, she walks into some place, she doesn't have a seat, she stands her black ass up. No one gives her a seat to sit down. Keep going.
And ain't I a woman?
Read that again.
And ain't I a woman?
Read it again.
And ain't I a woman?
When can a black woman get treated like a white woman? Isn't she a woman? She isn't small and frail and emotional and half your size. Why can't she be treated? Why can't she be a Karen? Why can't she be someone who's so weak that everyone considers helpless unless a big bad man comes and helps her? Here's the point you have to understand. It's because our oppressor has taught our women, to have their own strength. That's what they've taught you. They taught you not to need us. And because you tell us you don't need us, we protect ourselves from you. Does everyone understand? That is life here. What the UPK would have you do under Command and General Johanna is have women become completely needy in every way. They're just lost and helpless, and they don't know what job to pick. They don't know whether or not they should go to school. They don't know what to do. Their feelings are relied upon your words of encouragement. And because of that, then now a man goes, I have to carry you over a puddle. I have to pick you up and put you in the carriage. Now it inspires heroicness in men. So now men begin to feel more masculine because women become more feminine. But if women become strong bitches that ain't taking no shit from no man and I ain't letting you play me, all right, no problem. Well, I guess I'll just have to protect myself from you. And that's what you're seeing in this DeBaby incident. You're seeing a man, you see that girl behind him with those dark lines under her eyes and depressed and sad, and she just had a baby. That's what you see as women. You know what men see? The woman that's going to put him in jail if he doesn't film this. The woman that's going to take his kids, put him in jail for child support if he doesn't protect himself. They see two different things. You see yourself as, oh, she just had a baby. Oh, she's a woman. Oh, why is he doing that to her? Sister, we're afraid of you. Do you understand? We're afraid of you. We're afraid that you're going to take our children and we're going to jail because we got hit by you. We're scared. We don't want to get shot by the cops because you lied about a domestic violence issue. We don't want to go to jail you know how many brothers counsel me about child support? Oh my God. I mean, child support that the woman doesn't even get. They're getting arrested every 6 months. They're losing their driver's license, all because their wife found out they had another woman and then put them on child support. Men are afraid of black and Hispanic women because black and Hispanic women have decided to be strong. And they use that strength to be a weapon against men. And as long as you do it, men will protect themselves. What Commanding General Johanna would have you do is allow us to protect you. Allow us to treat you like women. Does everyone understand? With that, that's it. All right, now, let's go to the other one. Who was the other one?
Henry Ruggs.
Young Dolph, Henry Ruggs. Let's combine them all in one. Okay, there was another news story with Henry Ruggs III. Now, he's a football player. Give me just the story of him getting locked up and what he did to get locked up. Don't play the video I sent you. Play the regular story about Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs is a football player, played for the Las Vegas Raiders. And he one night, I think like 2 weeks ago, he was driving his car 100 miles per hour in a community area, not the highway. on a residential street, and he killed a woman. Killed a woman going 100 miles per hour, drunk out of his goddamn mind, and killed some woman. So, of course, now he's going to jail forever and a day. Go ahead, Art.
Sir, he wasn't driving 100 miles an hour. 156
I apologize.
miles per hour.
Not 100 miles per hour. 156, which I can't even really fathom. I'm trying to visualize it. I've been 100 before, but I've never been 156 miles ever. That's like race car driving as far as I can tell you. He was going 156 miles per hour in a neighborhood and killed some woman. She's dead. He was drunk out of his goddamn mind, and now, of course, his life is over. He's in jail forever and blah, blah, blah. All right? So now everyone, play the story quickly, all right? Just pick one news story. I'll take any one you got. Go ahead.
Ruggs III wheeled into court to face justice.
This is the case of the state of Nevada versus Henry James Ruggs III.
The wide receiver fired from the Las Vegas Raiders wearing a neck brace, charged with multiple felony counts, including a DUI and the fatal high-speed crash. The police report on the fiery wreck saying Ruggs was driving at 156 miles per hour, with a blood alcohol level twice Nevada's legal limit, before slamming into another vehicle, killing a woman and her pet.
Defendant's vehicle struck the rear of the victim vehicle with such violent force that it ignited the fuel tank. 23-year-old female occupant and her dog died as a result of the fire.
The wreckage and cones showing the erratic turns the car made before impact. The judge remarking extreme speed was involved.
I cannot recall a speed that high in my career on the bench.
Judge Bonaventure rejected the prosecutor's request for $1 million bail. Ruggs' bail set for $150,000 and the highest level of electronic monitoring. He was also ordered to abstain from alcohol and other controlled substances.
Right. So that's what happened. So also this week, I think it happened today or something, right? Yeah. Young Dolph, he's a rapper. I'm assuming he's very popular, right? He was killed today in Memphis. Shout out to who's over Memphis in the UPK? Captain Soccer War. Shout out to Captain Soccer War. Give him a hand. I got calls today from Captain Kahan that says the whole Memphis is getting shot up. Everybody in Memphis is in their houses ducking because the entire city is getting shot out there in Memphis, right? So Captain Kahan is on top of protecting the people that the Most High loves out there, all right? So he'll work on that. Give Captain Kahan a hand. All right. So now, young Dolph, he was killed. Somebody shot somebody's grandmama's house. After the grandmama's house got shot, then they came and shot him, killed him, he's gone, all right? These stories are very, very similar. And more importantly, these stories, this is going to be your story if you don't change. If you don't repent, this is going to be your story. It is very difficult to avoid the death that happens all around you, that happens to your loved ones. You can imagine that young Dolph in his life, he probably has many friends that has been shot, many friends killed, many friends murdered. And what you don't know is that many times when you have people in your life, when you have friends that have been shot, friends that go to jail, you yourself, you want to die too. And you're looking for a way to join your friend. Looking for a way for their death to happen to you. In psychology, they call it survivor's remorse, right? But what it actually is their demon is now on you. So now if you're someone who's selling drugs or in the street, your friends get killed. You pour out liquor for them, you put their face on a t-shirt, and you think you go live on, but you don't. Inside of you, there's a demon that is saying, join your friend. Die like him. Die like him. And it is so pressing, and you don't know you're being pressed, but you do know that you're going to commit more crime, sell more drugs, do more of the kind of things that your friend liked to do. that is the demon telling you to join him. I'm going to show you. Give me the video that I asked you. Now, the brother called me about this, so I just started doing my usual thorough and explicit research on the matter of whatever his name is, Suggs the third, right? And this is what I found. When you have it, play it, all right? Am I missing any questions in the room? Y'all got to talk to Meshach about it. Meshach pulls these videos up like in a blink of an eye. Sis, please. I'm sorry. Microphone for the sister. Go ahead.
It's like when you said they open up the door for the ladies. It's like when they put their coat on the floor and let them walk over.
That's what they do for white women. Take the microphone, give her a hand. That's what they do. Now, once again, the lesson is, if you want someone to lay their coat down for you, you have to act like a lady, right? Whoever says that term anymore, be ladylike. Being a lady is a rank in the United Kingdom. It's a rank. In the United Kingdom, they rank women and men. So there's a woman who's a lady. And you want to act like a lady to make men treat you like a lady. You understand, right? All right, go ahead. Play this.
For Henry Ruggs, the path
Turn the
here
sound up.
has passed through more than a tunnel. Through one friend's dream for another's future.
Rod had a vision. It was that Henry was a 5-star athlete and football was going to be his thing, and he saw him playing for Bama. And that was what he told him.
This is for you, Rod.
It's a little low. Can you raise it? Can you hear it online?
I come here every day and work hard and try to get people around me to work hard and just spread it around the team.
In the gym, Rod Scott was always number 3. Always alongside Henry Ruggs, number 2.
We were like twins, that's all I can say. Like we were the same person.
They were inseparable. I've still met people that say, I didn't know them apart.
They both starred in basketball for Lee High School in Montgomery. But Rod told Henry his future was elsewhere in a sport Henry didn't even play.
He said, Ruggs, you're a 5-star. He said, you're a 5-star. In football, give it a chance.
One day, I think he just listened to him and decided to play.
And once I started to play, he was just like, bruh, you better than all them out there.
5 games into his first high school season, Henry had his first scholarship offer.
I think I stopped counting at 21 offers from D1 colleges.
With Rod's own scholarship offers in basketball, the road ahead looked bright for both. March 3rd, 2016, when Henry and Rod planned to drive north to Birmingham to see a state basketball tournament.
I probably would have ended up driving because he always let me drive, but I ended up sick, so I didn't plan on moving.
Darian Adams was a passenger with Rod in the car that day.
And it was raining, so like a hydroplane, and the car started like spinning.
Just before mile marker 221 on I-65, the car lost control and rolled over 4 times into a grassy median.
I'm laying on the ground, I'm trying to figure out everybody. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where Rod is.
Rod, in the back seat, was thrown more than 85 feet from the vehicle. He was airlifted to Baptist Hospital in Montgomery.
There was no brain activity. I was still praying for a miracle. And so at that point, that's the doctor came out and he talked to us, told us that Roderick didn't make it.
Rod Scott was 17 years old. While thousands mourned at his funeral in Montgomery, Henry struggled with the weight of not driving that day.
I don't even know how to feel about it. Was it a good thing for me that I wasn't there, or was it just meant to be that way? I lost myself. I felt like I was supposed to be there.
Pause. Now we all understand, right? Right? 2016, his friend died in a car accident, right? And from that day forward, and brother, most times you don't know you're doing this, but you are trying to die. You're trying to make it happen. His best friend, the one that told him to play football, dies in a car accident. And then in his mind, it's like, I was supposed to be there. He found a way to be there. He found a way to get into that car, and he was trying to die. And in your mind, you think you're trying to have a party, right? You're trying to get so high to have a good time, to get so drunk, to have sex with these random women, to live this lifestyle that's so dangerous. You are trying to die. And you don't know consciously that you're trying to die. But you have lost your mother, lost your father, lost your brother, lost your friends. And now here you are. And you are trying to make the inevitable happen. You want it to happen. And now here we have young Dolph, who supposedly has done what? Escaped the streets, right? He's escaped it. He's got a record deal. He doesn't have to die like his cousin, like his brother, like his best friends. He's escaped it because he's made it. He's a millionaire now. He dies in Memphis on the same block, on the same streets that all of his friends died on. Right. Because that's how he wanted it. What you have to learn is that there's a thing in you that wants to die, like your friends, like your father. It wants it. It's like a craving. And the minute that they're gone, you think you moved on, but you are trying to repeat history. In this case, he's driving. Or else, that's an amazing coincidence then. Now, you give me another reason, because that's a goddamn coincidence. That's more coincidence than I can handle, a card. Go ahead. What you want to say? Brother, they did this documentary years ago on the brother. It's a documentary. Before this happened, his whole life is about the fact that he survived and did not get in the car when his friend hydroplaned on the road and was killed. They did a documentary on it back then. This is from 2017. Here he is in 2021, driving 156 miles per hour in a residential area. He didn't know what would happen. He wanted it to happen. He was trying to make it happen. Sad for him, like so many of you that are suicidal, what you want ain't gonna happen. You're gonna live and you're gonna kill someone else, and now you'll live in jail. Now you'll live in prison for the next 20 years trying to kill yourself. When you have sex with random whores on Facebook, after AIDS, after death, you're trying to get AIDS. You want it. When you get high, you are trying to die. When you drive drunk, you are trying to die. You want it to happen. You're not just trying to have fun. You're suicidal. You want to die. And that's what happened to young Dolph. And it always happens like this, where, and we'll look at him as people who listen to his music, and we'll be so shocked because we'll think he made it out the hood. He got rich. That thing that's in the hood is still in him. And that's suicide. That's the death that comes from growing up around death, from living in it so much, from just being around it so much. So now you make it to Hollywood, you're going back to Memphis, you're pulled back there. You have to go. And you have to get in street gang fights Because that's what you would have done if you never signed a rap contract. And you have to do it because you're trying to die. And it is not over. So many of the people that you idolize, you look at them as if you would have signed that record deal, that's what you always wanted. That's the key to you. When in the end, Doc, you're going to die on the same block you grew up. And that's that. Does everyone understand? Now let me give you a few precepts, all right? Let me give you what Christ said. Have you heard about them that pulled in Shiloh when they pulled the tower down on his head? I'll take that precept. Daniela, what'd you have? I'll take it. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 13, verse 1. There were present at that season some that told him of the Galileans, whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices.
That's another, all over social media and everybody's blogs, they're going to be tickled with the fact that this brother got killed. Excited about it. There's also a spirit among blacks and Hispanics of jealousy, and they love to see some famous rapper get killed because they're jealous of them. Because they look at them and they go, ha, 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 he got killed. He was richer than me. He had more money. And they're very happy to see people who remind them of themselves, but yet have more money than they have, get murdered. It validates your own life. It makes you feel like that you're not such a loser because he got killed. I would be careful before I would have that sentiment up. I'd be careful before I would relish in the death of any brother, whether he be so wicked or not. You should not prefer another brother to die because you might think you're better than him, but you're not. Keep going. So this is the time when many people came to him and they said, Christ, they wanted to tell him about these brothers who got killed, who were killed in Jerusalem or in Galilee. Keep going.
Verse 2. And Jesus answering said unto them, suppose ye that these Galileans were sinners above all the Galileans?
I guess you think young Dolph was the most wicked man in the world. What was he? A drug dealer? So were you. Was he a sinner? So were you. What did young Dolph do that you didn't do? You did the exact same thing that he did. You're not better than young Dolph, Biggie, Tupac, or the next rapper that's going to get shot in a couple of days or weeks. You're not better than them. You did the exact same thing as them. You just are jealous of them, and you're happy that they died because you're jealous. What I'm trying to help you with is you have no reason to be jealous of them because their life is terrible. So you can pity them. You might have looked at that football player like, oh, I'm jealous of him. He signed an NFL contract. He's rich. He's getting in his car every day after practice trying to die like his best friend did. So don't be jealous of him. Pity him. Pity young Dolph. Pity every rapper who women scream about. Feel sorry for them because their life is hell. Keep going.
Because they suffered such things?
You must think that he's the most evil man in Galilee. Or these men are the most evil men because they suffered such things. Keep going.
I tell you, nay.
No, they're not. Young Dolph wasn't the most evil man in the world. What's more evil about him than anybody else? What did he have, a beef with somebody in his neighborhood? Raise your hand if you had beef with somebody in your neighborhood. Yeah, everybody in the damn room. Yeah, that's all. He's no worse than you at all. No worse. He's not more of a sinner than you are. Keep going.
I tell you, nay, but except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish.
Read it again.
I tell you, nay, but except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish.
Here's what you should learn from the death of young Dolph, Biggie Smalls, Tupac, the next ones that will inevitably happen. These are going to always happen. And these aren't going to happen because rappers get killed. These are going to happen because black people get killed. Right. Hispanics get killed. We die all the time. It's normal. We die in car crashes, our friends, then a few years later, we kill somebody in a car crash. It's normal because we're in hell under a curse. Here's what you better realize. Young Dolph is not the most evil man in the world. He didn't get some punishment that he had coming. He wasn't the worst of us. This is what you should remember. You too, in likewise, shall perish unless you repent. Repentance is the only thing that is saving your life. That's it. It's not because he's so wicked. It's not because you're better. The only reason that you are alive and not dead is because you have focused your being on changing. And that is what saves lives. And nothing else does. You're not smarter than him. You're not better than him. You are just someone that has decided that you are willing to put in the work, to make the sacrifice, to change. And that's what saves lives. And without it, you're going to die just like him, except it's not going to make the blogs when you get shot. No one will even give a damn. It won't make the news. You know how many friends I had that got killed? It didn't make, I think one of them made a damn one sentence in a newspaper. Another one got the electric chair with a lethal injection, and that made about 2 sentences. Other than that, who in the hell cares? No one gave a damn. When you get killed, no one will care. You should repent. You should change, or else you're going to be just like him. You should repent, or else you'll be like that football player. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to be a different person. And this change is extreme. It's radical. It's change so big that when you do it, they'll call you a cult member. That's how big the change is. It's like you become a different person. It's like your mother sees you and goes, I don't even know who you are anymore. You talking in a way I don't understand. I didn't raise you like that. Why are you acting like that? Your friends go, why don't you call us anymore? Why don't you talk to us? What happened to you? We used to be close. I've changed, man. I'm a different man because I want to live. I don't want to die. I want to live. And Captain Kataza was bringing it out earlier about the first death and the second death. The first death being the death of your old man. It's spiritual. Meaning you might have been John Smith. John Smith goes away. Officer Ricard is born. Because of that first death, you don't die the second death. The second death is physical. The second death is you dying when Christ returns and he burns your eyes out of your head and your tongue out of your mouth, dying on Judgment Day. The second death is a physical death. Well, one or the other, Akwaf, either die now or die later. That's your choice. Either you say, I'm killing the old person I was when I was playing football in high school, when I was living in that neighborhood. Either he dies and a new man is born, or else I die physically. Either way, somebody got to die. Everybody understands. Any questions? With that, pass the class over to the officer in the back.